Alright, man, y'all know what the hell going on, man. Y'all know exactly what time it is. The market just opened about almost 2 hours ago. We about to get another candle closure on that 1 hour in 2 minutes. So right now I'm sitting in sweet greens, bro. Baby girl, that baby girl. We just came from music practice. And yeah, bro, I'm just gonna go through a little quick breakdown, kind of see how the market is moving and reacting. We're gonna do a little talk through, a little walk through, and then and then I'm gonna talk about my approach going forward. For the rest of this week. Like I said, we up 1,500 in the account, and we just taking it easy, man. We just taking it easy. We getting a payout though. We getting a payout for sure. So check this out. All right. So look. We're on the daily right now. Y'all can see we had created this, we got kind of this double top situation going on, and we're having a slight pullback right now on the daily from this zone right here. And so, let's see. Like I said, my total bias is we're going to sell off and dip into this weekly and daily fair value gaps below. So let's look on the weekly real quick. All right. So on the weekly, it looks like we're consolidating. There is a fair value gap right below this area. So what it looks like we might do is we might retrace back into this area. This thing closes in 3 days and 21 hours. Interesting. Why is it? Oh, that means Friday the market is going to be closed. The market won't even be open Friday, right? So that means we'll go here. So that means we'll probably dip into here, and maybe even that's gonna be interesting, man. I don't know what it's gonna be looking like this week. Gonna be looking like going into that market. So like I said, look like we're trying to pull back, probably recover into this area before we sell off. If we go higher, we go higher. And I'm gonna look into the news today to see what might potentially push us higher. So. We're just gonna move from there. Okay, so go down to the daily. All right, like I said, kind of got some downtrending action going on. We're still, like I said, we created a fair value gap here, right? We created this fair value gap here, and you see price dipped into there, and it's now heading down this way. I'm expecting us to get some kind of reaction around this level of support here. And then there's a fair value gap in here. It would be so like NQ to come down here, sweep this, also mitigate this gap, and then go up potentially. Maybe even take a quick stab in here potentially before we turn around going into that holiday run. All right, so look, let's go down to the 4 hour. Look, man, this is perfect, bro. Like, this is too much, like, right? And price does this, man. It does it sometimes. They like to play around the fair value gap before it take off, and sometimes it would just totally reverse because we have a fair value gap. This is a 1 hour fair value gap I have sitting right here, and then we had another 4 hour available up here, right? We have a 4 hour available right here, and then one slightly above that. Let me put that back, guys. I moved that thing. All right, cool. I accidentally moved that. And so this is what we're looking at so far. I think even though this candle is bullish right now, it's just a liquidity grab going back to fill some orders potentially, and we're probably potentially going to go down. And I could be wrong, but right now that's what I'm thinking. And let's see if that idea is validated going back into the charts. All right, so we are absolutely ranging in this area right here, as y'all can see. We came from up here, sold off, right, creating that downtrending structure, found a low, shot up, absolutely exploded from there back to new highs. This was SpaceX IPO down that Friday. We had a little run up on the hype, probably came back, dipped into that price gap, came right back to highs, almost sweeping that high before we actually sold off, creating a more downtrending structure. Inside of fair value, you got right here that we got some reactions out there, but most of all, the price looks like it's mostly coming down with it. So let's look into, all right, let's go down to the 1 hour. All right, we dipping down into the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we got a nice looking fair value gap we're dipping into right now. this could be the perfect pullback that we want before price go up, or it could absolutely just invert this and continue down. Overall, I think my bias for, if we look at my weekly again, that's that gap right there. I'm gonna look at the weekly again, because I think the weekly trend is like, we're mostly up. We haven't broken no major structure, but I think it's, like I said, I think we're dipping back into these lower areas. Like, as you can see, though we're holding this area, we're actually creating this this triangle right here, this triangle pattern. If y'all not familiar with it, it's happening right now. We're creating this triangle here. I think they call it a, sometimes they call it a wedge, sometimes they call it a bull or bear flags. Bull or bear flags, those is very specific though. But this might be an ascending or a wedge triangle. They got names for these things, guys. Let me look it up. Let me see the triangle chart patterns. Let's look that up real quick. Let's see. Triangle. Let's see this triangle chart patterns. Okay, so look, so here you go. You have the ascending, you have descending, and then you got the symmetrical triangle. I think we're looking at more of a symmetrical, almost descending triangle. As you can see right here, that looks almost symmetrical or closer to descending, right? Which is probably hinting at a sell-off potentially. So we're just gonna keep an eye out for it, because I can see price dipping into here before selling off. And then just running down here going into July, right, before we get a turnaround, potentially. And we'll see. Maybe we go higher before we actually go lower. We'll see. We're gonna see how the market, what does it tell us? You know what I mean? So let's go lower. All right, we're on a 30-minute now. Pretty much still right in line with the 1 hour chart. What's going on there? Not seeing anything super special. All right, let's go down to the 15-minute. All right, in the 15-minute, getting a sell-off. More gaps opening up. Got a slight break of structure after running up to this support area, this resistance area here. This is kind of breaking below this little structural point, so it doesn't mean too much, but if we start breaking below here, all right, now, so we just need to see the structure created. We might go up before we go down. Dipping back into this range before we sell off. Like, we had it right here on this situation. We bought up, blew past all of this. It had a little bit of structure created, kind of consolidation, a little bit of like some small runs in there, and then we immediately sold out, getting right back into that range and covering all of that. Had a pull back here, try to continue down a little bit, and then we pull back some more before we go down probably. So let's go down to the 5-minute. All right, 5 minutes, absolutely trying to recover this, get back into this range that was created, which is very interesting. And so I'm not going to go any lower than that, I don't think. At least I'll go ahead and look at the 2-minute. So let's see the 2-minute. Basically right in line with what's going on. And then we got the 1-minute. Moving back into that range. Somebody probably made some sales already, probably in some sales. Probably had some buys. There were some moves that opened up. That's a nice buy right there. That's a nice buy right there. Look at that. Get right back into there. Stops below that point. Boom. That's nice. They even swept that. Probably coming back into other gaps that was up here. There's a small gap there. It did right back up over here. There's a whole fair value gap right up here, guys. It came and took out. Right here, right above this little high right there. That is a 1 to 15, man, which stops just right under this level. That's a nice dub when somebody. That's how many points is that? Baby girl. I am trying to trade right now. Yeah, I'm trying to buy everybody that guy. Yeah, tell them to go away. Don't you interrupt me again with that?
Sorry.
Crazy. I done seen that before though. It's probably a unicycle. Before I was rudely interrupted by my daughter over here, who's supposed to be watching the charts with me. Like I said, it was a 115. I probably wouldn't have took that trade. Maybe I would have. Maybe I would have tried to target like this area, which would probably been like a 1 to 5, more than enough, right? And then price is absolutely turning around now, selling off. So we'll see what it does from here. Man, that's pretty much all I got for y'all today, man. Like I said, going forward, like I said, I'm going to be really patient and really much watching myself more than anything. I just want to execute my strategies, be aware of my mental state at all times, and how I'm mentally thinking about the charts and going about the charts. Because we don't want to get in a space of, oh, I need to win a trade, I need to make money. Nah, you want to execute the strategy. Am I reading price action clearly? Am I taking the proper actions to protect my account, my equity first, and then grow the equity second? Are we fully accepting the risk when we're taking that trade? You know what I'm saying? So these are very important things to watch out for. You know what I'm saying? So, man, y'all just be on the lookout, man. All right, well, that's all I got for y'all today. Matter of fact, let's look at gold real quick. Let's go down to the weekly. Gold is absolutely selling off like crazy, guys. Gold is selling off like crazy. That is insane. So that means some nice entries probably gonna be coming up, selling off. Look like we're trying to get a slight shift of structure on the 4 hour. So everybody's gonna continue selling off. 1 hour in line. We're getting a slight turnaround. Because we had this lower high after dipping below this. Still really breaking below the structure. We did under there. Now we might get something going. But that's a nice looking sell too. We'll come back into one of these areas to 30 minute. But man, we done sold off something crazy. Gold, man. Gold been running down to the creek on them, boy. Yeah, I think gold, for the most part, I don't even need to get down into this. I just need to stay on a higher time frame, bro. Yeah, we mostly just selling off. There ain't really nothing special going on. Gold pullbacks, just to round off. It looks almost like a upside down cup and handle right here. If y'all know about that, man. If y'all know about the cup and handle. This the cup and handle thing. That's what the cup and handle looks like. If y'all know about that chart pattern. It literally it's an upside down kind of cup and handle. But people don't really know too much about that. But basically prices kind of round off, selling off, continuing down, creating a downtrending structure. Just wait on your retest and getting bounces around major areas of resistance, just following that structure, easy opportunities. Not even dipping, talking about the fair value gaps or anything. Gold does more liquidity sweeping than I realized. And maybe it's not just a gold thing or indices thing. Maybe it's just a future. Maybe it's a futures thing too as well. But like I said, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all see what my mindset is. I hope y'all getting some value from these videos I'm dropping. Happy trading this week, man. Watch y'all psychology, bro. It ain't about trying to make the money, dog. You need to make sure you execute right when you're in there. Execute right, and if it ain't looking good, no trade. If you can't read and understand the chart, no trade. If you feel like you got to over risk or over trade, bro, you are dead ass wrong, and that's a recipe for disaster. And ask me how I know, because I have been losing money since 2022. I done made money, but I lost hella money making dumbass decisions. So ask me how I know. And that ain't trading, bro. Chasing. It ain't trading, bro. You just making money. That ain't trading. Trading is executing that strategy, using proper risk, executing your strategy. It ain't chasing, bro. It's not your move. Stay up out of there. All right, man. Y'all enjoy.